Good evening and welcome again to your favorite show, The Law and You. This Tuesday and every Tuesday at 8 p.m., we come to your screens, to your homes, to your computers, to your phones, to your laptops, through One Accord TV, One Accord on YouTube, One Accord on Facebook. Please, you can share this link with your friends as you continue to learn on matters law. As I always say, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And by the grace of God, we are able to come share the little knowledge that we have. Karibu Wakili, say hi to your people.
Thank you for having me here. Yes, it's another Tuesday that we are here to just share the knowledge.
Yes, and the last time we were here, we were talking about intellectual properties.
Yes.
Intellectual properties ni mambo. We said property like land. It's a property like land, cars, but this is a property of the mind. Umefikiria, umetengeneza, you have made it, you have what is the right word? You have thought about it, you have designed. And we said that there are different categories of intellectual property. One is on the issue of copyright. Now that's copyright, trademarks, industrial patents and everything. And even there's patents. And we have been going slowly one to the other. And today we'll be discussing on copyright. So it may be in a very simple way. What is copyright? And how is it different from trademark that you talked about last time?
Well, a copyright is an expression of an idea that has been reduced into a hard copy. And this would be in terms of, let's say, a book or a disc or a drawing. That becomes an expression. You have expressed that idea that you have in your mind, maybe for a TV show, a movie, drama, and you have reduced this idea into something tangible. And this will be through a disc or even a website or even a drawing. So artistic designs, like for people who draw, that would become a copyright.
But now, when you're talking about the people who draw, I think I'll draw a lot of pictures. So will I be registering the copyright every now and then? Or what happens now?
You'll be registering that idea, which is already reduced. So every photo that you actually draw, especially for those kind of expressions, for example, animals and such, and you have probably, the drawing may have taken you, let's say even a month or a year to actually come up with that drawing. Yes, you need to register that. And all you need to do is just that expression, which could be reduced into a paper. You can present that document there, or you can compile that into a book. But you had asked me what the difference between the copyright then
and the trademark.
And a trademark. And a trademark differs from a copyright because a trademark is basically that concept, design logo that you have and that you are known for. And you want to...
This is your brand, in short.
Your brand.
Yeah. So like now our show is The Law and You. Yes. So the moment you see these faces, you're like, The Law and You has come.
Yes.
So now these are trademark.
That's it.
But you are saying copyrights, we have to reduce it into a book. Maybe I can write a book on The Law and You. Now that becomes, I have to copyright the book.
Yes.
Or maybe I can sing a song on The Law and You.
Yes.
Now that becomes a copyright. Okay. So maybe, especially now with the new government, since I think 2013, when guys were talking about tumetoka analog to digital, because even you can see now, sometimes you don't have it in disc, hard disk. Maybe it's on YouTube, maybe it's online. Can you copyright like a song like that even without the hard disk, or you need the hard disk to go to the center to be able to register it?
The KECOBO, which is Kenya Copyright Board, requires that you have to reduce that idea, that expression, to a hard copy. And so if you're on YouTube and you have that song, which is a sound recording, you need to reduce that and present that hard copy, probably in that flash disk or in a CD format, to the Kenya Copyright Board for them to now register and give you a certificate of copyright.
A certificate. Yeah. And because we are talking about it's a copyright, it's a property. That means if someone uses this property without your authority, you can be able to sue them and be paid or something.
Yes, that's one of the advantages of
Yeah.
registration of a copyright, because the registration in itself helps to protect your private right of property. And when you have this private right, why we call it a copyright is because you are owning all the rights of this expression idea. And so if any other person takes that idea, for example, when you go to a cyber cafe and decide to photocopy someone else's
Yeah.
book without
Yeah.
their right, it becomes a criminal offense. And once you commit that criminal offense, then the person who owns the copyright can actually take you to court, and there is already a fine stated of 800,000 in Kenya shillings that
Wow.
you can actually be fined by the court. And so it's important to register copyright, because you are owning, number one, there is an economic right, you as a person who has owned the copyright, to duplicate and multiply and actually make
And
money
sell and make money from that.
from that. There's also the moral right, which is basically just just owning that idea that you actually own through copyright registration.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And maybe I've seen people who do songs. Maybe I sing a song and then you want to do a cover song. Is it a dangerous thing, or should you first approach me and I give you authority to do something like that?
You have to seek for that right to actually do a cover song.
Yeah.
And that's why now that advantage comes in handy. The same way, you cannot even upload that cover song on YouTube without stating that you've acquired the rights from the copyright owner. Because if you upload it, YouTube is going to bring it down, and you cannot continue making money out of someone else's, or getting views which are monetized and end up giving you money.
And I think this is very important, especially to the young people, because young people have very fresh ideas. And we have seen a situation where someone comes up with nice songs. I think there's a time there was the issue of one group that inaimba hizi nyimbo hazijaokoka. Maybe that's the reason why that happened. They sang, but someone else took the songs, uploaded the songs under herself. And the argument was that she's the one who funded the songs. So these young people are like, oh no, but our songs has 1 million views, we are not getting money, we are not getting everything. And I think it's very important that you also understand that. As you are making your song, you need to understand. And that's the reason why you need lawyers in your life everywhere you want. Because although there's a problem, people don't like paying, but you need, because for example, like now these young people, they had like 5 songs, hit songs during COVID. I don't know, COVID, people had time for YouTube, because hakuna kazi ingine, unaamka, repeat. And their songs were 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, and that was a lot of money. But all these young people went blank. They were just, during COVID, people are not doing performance song. There are no performances, so you're not being paid for concerts. So the only thing you are waiting for is YouTube payment. There's another young man I've seen who is also doing very nice songs, but I can see the songs that have been uploaded by a lady somewhere. I think they're in love now. Let's see how it goes 5 years down the line. When money now starts taking shape, because I think those are the agreements. We are not saying it's not possible, but you need to have proper agreements for people to know that, yes, you're uploading, you're my producer, but what are the rights am I giving? This upload, are you taking 30%? Are you taking 10%? Are you taking 50%? Or what's the thing about it?
Actually, that's what we call, one of the rights we call a related rights, which includes broadcast rights, it includes performers' rights, and the rights of the producers of sound recordings.
Yeah.
So when you register a copyright, you are basically also stating who has those rights. Because, for example, for a song, for creation of this particular song that you are going to record in studio as a young person, there will be a writer, there will be someone who would have come up with that song. It may not be you as a musician, but you could have someone else who comes up with the song. You could have the producer himself having his own rights, and you need to actually declare who has the rights to this particular sound recording before you proceed on to even upload it elsewhere. And so copywriting helps you in declaring those rights. And so you don't find yourself also getting now, for example, a producer coming after you, demanding for this, because you have already declared during copywriting.
And I think one thing I've come to know, intellectual property is one area of the law that huwezi jifanyia mwenyewe. We have been saying about, naweza enda kotini mwenyewe. Yes, you can, but it's a very, especially now like the music where there's a producer, there's a video guy, there's you, even there are people who write lyrics on your behalf and then you go sing. There's you with your voice. There's a person maybe who will do the beats. So you'll find even 5 people, and if you do not have proper agreements, that's the reason why we have a lot of issues here and there. Maybe another thing maybe I would like to ask you, but that maybe we'll do after the break, is on the procedure of how we register the copyright. But now, maybe, I don't know, apart from the books, the music, the YouTubes and everything, is there something else that maybe we are missing that can be registered under the copyright?
Maybe apart from that, probably even sound recordings. You hear, especially if you walk around town, and there are people who have done some recordings for advertisement. Wanasema mali ya jioni something.
Dawa ya mende.
Yes, those kind of sound recordings.
100 bob.
Yes, they're included in copyright. With cinematology, or other videos and movies. With something to do with softwares. If you actually come up with a software or a website, you're required to register this as a copyright to own it. You also see, actually, at the end of the show, you're actually likely to see copyrighted. The Law and You has been copyrighted to this station. And so these are some of the things that are included in that long list of around 7 or 8 items that you can copyright.
That you can copyright.
Yes.
And for what you are saying, it's very important for you to understand how to do it, because you may do it even wrongly, the wrong way. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, at that point, we'll be taking a break. And when we shall be back, we'll be talking on the procedure of how to register the copyright and also on other issues related to the copyright. See you after the break.
Thursday night from 8:15 is our communion night. As often as you do this in remembrance of me. That is our communion night every Thursday from 8:15. So please prepare your family and every Thursday, and we have the communion together. God bless you.
Welcome back to your favorite show, The Law and You. Wakili, when we were going over for the break, I promised people now we need to know the procedure. But there's something you are saying before we went for the break on the importance of people registering these things and knowing what they are signing into. Have we reached, because we have been hearing people millions and what in TZ and in the US, the UK. Do we have those kind of cases in Kenya? Whereby someone feels offended, someone signed a contract vibaya, na sahi anakuliwa, maybe they feel the work they have done is not being appreciated.
There are even cases whereby, for example, you had an idea of a particular show. This is actually a case I've come across. And you actually go to pitch before a panel at a TV station like this one.
Then tomorrow.
And tomorrow, you wake up and find your show has been implemented. And we've had such shows, such cases going to court. And actually, for people who are wise enough and had reduced the particular shows into a copyright before presenting it to this media, all you need to do is prove that the idea first came from you. It was originally yours. Because
I've heard of a story, and the reason we are saying this is for people to see atupigi story zile za nini. Sitasema story za nini, but tunapiga story real. There's someone else who went, sat down with someone, wrote a movie, a script, proper script, went and presented to someone like you. In fact, akamuuliza, ebo soma script yangu, you see how if it's good, where can I improve and everything. The next thing, 1 year down the line, he is seeing one of the famous online online movie applications advertising about a movie. When he watches the movie, he's like, this is that idea I had. People talk about Studio Water and Chill. I will not mention the other name, but you understand. That's what it was. So what we are saying is that a lot of people are losing their ideas. And someone told me, but I don't know if this is the right way to go. Even if you have not reduced it, at least send someone over email. When you're telling him, please, can you check for me this? So that will help prove that initially, before even I went for copyright, because you know, there's a time maybe you're thinking of something, haijaiva vizuri when you copyright. Because now a movie maybe is like 100 pages. Maybe you want to change something. Send over email, tell someone, can you check for me this? It becomes easier for you to prove this idea came from you. But the biggest challenge we have, people like doing business as friends.
Actually, you've talked about such a situation, and I'm reminded of a case that was there last year, internationally.
Yeah.
There's a certain gospel musician, wa hizi nyimbo za vijana, who actually went to court to sue another musician of the world, who had done who had copied a certain sound in his song.
A beat.
A beat. And actually went to court and won for that, and got millions of shillings for that.
If that was happening in Kenya, there's one musician, my friend. He was, I think those are 3-4 years ago. He was very famous. And every time there was a world song, Yamaju, he would come and do a Christian version of that beat. These days he does not sing.
Okay.
So I'm saying, if someone like that is followed up, can be very big. Okay, we have said all this. How do you go about registration? Because I think on trademark, you talked about you reduce it in writing, have copies, like 12 copies, pay money, do this, gazettement and everything. Copyright, how do you go about it?
Copyright registration is very simple. And actually nowadays they are online. You can actually do it online. And what they would require you is, first of all, you need to establish or declare that the work is your original work.
Yeah.
So once you declare that, there will be an affidavit where you're supposed to sign. Then there are obvious other rights that we talked about. If it's a musical registration, maybe an audiovisual, you have to declare who has the rights of a production and such things. Once you have that on that application, they will require you to reduce the work of that idea in hard copy. And they will require you to actually, when it was physical, they would require you to take 2 copies of this. Maybe it's in a disc. They would require you to take that. Or if it's in a book, or maybe it's a script for a movie, they will still tell you, reduce this script by saving it on as a presentation on how you have actually come up with this idea on a disc, and then present this disc. Then once you present this, then it will take 7 days, and they will give you a copyright certificate.
Oh, unlike the trademark that takes months and months,
yes,
the copyright is within a shorter period of time.
It's within a very short time, and so no one should actually be out here creating and not protecting themselves.
And are there costs involved?
Initially there was a cost. When they launched the website, it was free for the first few months. I have not checked recently to see whether they have brought back the cost, but there's a cost for it.
There's a cost for it, but it's not that crazy.
It is not crazy.
Like for the trademarks,
Yes, it is very affordable.
Very affordable. Then number 2, there's something that I asked just during the break. For example, if I'm doing poems, I have 20 poems, shairi. Do I go, what would your advice be? Do I go registering each of the shairis? Or even if a song, I have 10 songs, do I register each, or can I combine it and do it at once?
You see, one of the requirements is for you to reduce this idea into a hard copy, into something tangible. And so if it's in a poem, and you have done one poem, and maybe it depends on the rate at which you produce these poems.
Yeah.
So if you take a whole year or 2 years, then I would advise you, and you are presenting them, actually you are going out there and presenting these poems, it will be important for you to actually do the registration of each, because you don't want to expose yourself, give out your creativity, and someone else copies it. But if it's a song also, since we are reducing this into a tangible document, like a CD, then you can easily take your 10 or 15 songs, have your album, and copyright the whole album as
one.
As one, because it will also be cheaper, because they are not looking at the content inside. They are looking at the tangible document.
Okay.
Or item.
And if I'm outside Nairobi, can I still copyright or have to travel? There's one place I need to travel and come and register. If I'm in Mombasa, I'm in Kisumu, Meru, what happens?
There's only one office for Kenya Copyright Board, which is actually at Upper Hill in Nairobi. But now with the new launched system, online system, I think you can do it anywhere you
are. From the comfort of your home? From
the comfort of your computer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's amazing. Because I believe, especially for the young guys who are being creative, the way you are saying, it's very sad for you to create something and you see people going to enjoy the fruits on your fruits. Another thing maybe I would like to ask, the people, for example, like now, can in a music production, and I'm saying this because, you know, a lot of people, young people, everyone believed at some point they were good rappers and good musicians. For example, like we have seen concerts whereby you go for a concert, the concert guys have their cameras and they upload this on YouTube. What would your advice be? Because at that point, maybe you as an artist, you have signed a contract saying any performance that will be there, all your rights have been given out, and you have just been given a token appreciation.
I think that's why we go back to you need a lawyer in your life.
Yeah.
And the reason why you need one is because we'll be able to advise you that whatever document you're signing, whatever performance contract you'll be signing, will be those fine print saying that you're giving out your rights to the performance, which now can be uploaded on YouTube, and probably the organizer is going to monetize this and make more money than what you're going to be paid. And so it will be important to have a lawyer who is able to advise you against giving away those rights, because once you sign it off, and you might end up being the loser for this.
And coming on that, I remember of an international artist, one of these, I don't know why the Christians don't have these fresh ideas, but there's one international artist a lady who sings with her husband. They're the biggest, richest people in the world.
Yes.
So there's a show that has been there yearly. Maybe I can even mention it, but so in that show, it's like maybe an election. You know, an election is every year, for example. So she was called to perform. And the performance is like, I think, 3 or 2 days, back to back. So she was like, don't pay me. Don't pay me because you want to pay me $1 million, 10 million. Don't pay me. What I will do is give me rights of this production and I'll sell it. So what she did, she came 4 months to the event. She called her dancers. She did everything and they used to follow them to record. The story later on, even the performance in that festival, she recorded with her own guys. The story is that she sold to one of these
chill things.
Dance and chill, for billions. For billions and billions. So I think also for Kenyan musicians, for Kenya production people, they need now to start thinking in a different way. For example, when maybe you have a conference, even in church, you can have this conference reduced maybe into a 40 minutes, what is it called? A 40 minutes maybe documentary of how the conference was for the last 1 week, upload it on YouTube and monetize your art. Because I think that's the biggest challenge. We are still in the past whereby, you know, in the past, ulikuwa unaitwa, unaimba unapewa bahasha. Unaitwa concert, unalipwa kitu. But people never thought about these untangible ways of making money. I don't know what else maybe have we forgotten you have not mentioned on the issues of copyright?
It's the life of copyright. Once you register this copyright, how long do you own it?
Yes,
and
yes.
the law provides that if the author, who is the person who comes up with this idea, is known, copyright survives 50 years after his death.
Wow.
So the whole life of a person plus 50 more years.
After his death?
After his death.
That means his estate, his children, his wife, and his husband can enjoy.
Can enjoy that copyright. But if the author is not known, for example, and you have registered a copyright, so for example, a book, its lifetime is actually only 50 years for that period of time. And so if you register as a limited company, so we don't know, we know the company as a person, then it will be for the life of the company. And you know the life of the company is until probably we end up, what do we call it?
You dissolve it.
Dissolving this company. It will survive that period of time. So if a company is going to be there for 200 years, then
the copyright will be there for. And maybe you can tell, I think at this point is when you, I don't remember if we mentioned it. For trademarks, every 10 years you have to renew it.
You have to keep renewing it.
Unlike the copyright, where it's forever and ever, amen.
No, it's for your life. If you live to be 40 plus 50 years, so 90 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, forever. As long as I'm alive, it's forever and ever, amen.
Yes.
And then after that, 50 more years. But for trademarks, every 10 years, you need to go and remind them, hey, this was my idea.
Or someone else will come and take it up, and they will not object to giving that trademark
to someone else.
Yes.
It's more like a lease.
Yes.
A lease has expired, someone else may come and take that lease.
Yes.
Wakili, issues of copyright, I think, is too much. And this is one of the things I would tell people. I think if you need to go sit down with a copyright expert for you to be able to understand, especially if you're doing a music production that involves producers, camera people, beats people. There are people who even come to do the guitar alone. You know, kuja nataka guitar kwa hii song, anakuja kupiga tu kwa guitar. So those people need to understand also they can make a lot of money if they are able to quantify their art. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show, The Law and You, on the issues of copyright. As we spoke before, we started with trademark, and now we are on copyright. And next time in this show, we'll go to the next patent, because we want all the ideas that we have come up with. God has given you favor to be able to come up with that idea, to be able to protect it. Wakili, maybe your last parting words, and then we can.
My last parting words is if you are right, copyright is actually stolen from you, and you want to you can maximize on that, because one, you can discuss a payment plan, because someone else may be duplicating your CDs out there and selling your music. So you can ask for the payment that you have actually suffered. And number two, this person the law provides that they can be imprisoned for a term of minimum 10 years.
Yeah. So
you need to maximize that right and actually go for it. The other thing is, if you're a photographer out there, we know that the rights of a photograph belong to the taker of that photo. And
not to the takee. The taker.
Not to the object.
The object.
Yes. And so be careful if you're in an event and you have actually signed some of those rights off for photographers to take your photos, because you can also maximize that right, that when your photos are taken, you don't find yourself online.
Online, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember Wakili said, do not bring an idea if you're not copywriting it, if you're not safeguarding it. I remember there's, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, one of the leading telecommunication network was told to pay 10 million for a song they were using for someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been The Law and You, this and every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Thank you and God bless you.